Hey guys, how's it going? So we have a super fun project happening on our property today, right back here by our gazebo. You might remember I posted a picture a couple of weeks ago that the pond guy, Greg Wittstock, visited our garden. We walked around, talked about a whole bunch of different ideas for water features, different opportunities and different spots. And today we're breaking ground on the first one. So excited. So anyway, we're also gonna do a fun giveaway and we'll talk about that a little bit later. All right, they're already getting started.
Hey, we'll film you and you film us.
Perfect. Greg the pond guy, Brian his designer there.
Yes.
So pond guy YouTube channel, Team Aquascape.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Both amazing.
So Brian is the real man here. He's gonna be designing this. When we walked around last night, we had so many opportunities. I mean, your garden is just amazing.
Oh,
we were
thanks.
both like in awe of this, and you have the coolest cats ever.
We do have some pretty cool cats, yeah.
So we're out of Chicago, and when we came down here about a couple weeks ago to check out and scope out areas, I hadn't finalized this because there's so many opportunities, but this is a small pondless waterfall.
Yep.
You know, it's the waterfall kit that we have, and we're working with a local certified Aquascape contractor out of Boise. You know, that's Chris and Tristan, and they drove up here today, and we're going to go pick out some different rocks. They brought some rocks, but that's okay. We're going to go get some different rocks for you. But one of the reasons that, you know, tell them why you decided, why we all kind of concluded this would be a good spot.
Let me show the area just real quick, if you don't mind. So we're calling this the woods, right here. We have Chris and Tristan as our centerpiece.
Yeah.
But we feel like something, you know, a pondless waterfall right in here. Just having that nice water sound, it kind of fits in with the aesthetic back here. I think it's a good shady spot.
It's awesome. You know, I love, there's something so relaxing about just sitting underneath the natural canopy of trees. And with, you know, this viewing area over here, we always want to bring it close to some type of outdoor living space. And you have countless areas to do it around here, like literally countless. But there was something, like, as soon as you go past this space, you already just kind of felt relaxed. And I think with the sound of that babbling brook in here, making it way more bird loving, like I'd love to see little birds kind of splashing back and forth. And then picking up the sound from inside this space over here is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, so you guys, this is the gazebo right here, so it's really close.
And just wait till you see what it looks like at night. That's going to be my favorite part.
I'm excited.
So let's go show you the products that we shipped out for here.
Okay.
And then we'll go pick out the rock.
Perfect. Sounds great.
All right.
All right, guys, so they actually unloaded some rock, and I feel horrible, but I feel like it's a little bit too much on the orange side. It's beautiful, like with moss and lichens, but I always, like you can tell, like I am super picky about undertones and rock color. And so I think we're gonna go get some like charcoal undertone rock. We'll see. I don't know. I mean, the more I look at it, I'm like, you know what?
Now, are you being wishy-washy?
No, well, you know, it's...
Well, I can tell you this right now. I told Chris to bring me moss and lichen looking rock.
And that's what he did.
This rock, I'm like, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
But you're the customer.
Oh, well, I know, but see, like, this is gorgeous. And I know it's gonna look different too when it's in the shade and when it's got water on it. Oh.
So you're being wishy-washy.
Well, yeah, because that's the name of the game in my land. That's how I operate. You know, I wonder if we should just go with it. Do you have the vision? I don't. That's why you're here.
Well, I gotta tell you, I'll do anything that you would like because, you know, you're garden answer. But I love this rock. Chris loves this rock. Brian loves this rock. Even the cat, look, even the cat loves this rock.
So, you know what? I probably love this rock too. I just don't know it yet, right?
Trust us.
Yeah, I think I should.
Listen, and if you don't like it at the end, we can always replace it with a different stone because this is a small, one of the reasons that we're doing this kit is it's a homeowner built kit. So we're professionals building this. We're going to do this in a day. This is a 2-weekend project for a homeowner to knock out a couple hours on a Saturday, a couple hours on a Sunday. So if you don't like the rock when we're done, we'll be happy to come out and replace it with grayer rock or whatever. But I kind of think you might like it. But
I think you're right. I think you're right.
All right.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing, you guys. I remember helping people with landscape designs and having people give me very strict requirements. And I always thought, you know, if you would just kind of let me go with it and go with the vision, you might even like it. Like maybe you don't know you like a color until it's there. And so I think in this case I need to trust the professionals because he does such amazing work. I'm serious.
Okay, what do we got, Brian?
Well, we've got a whole lot of everything. I think you can build at least 5 different water features with what we sent. And maybe that's the plan someplace down the road, but what we're looking for is the Aquascape Backyard Waterfall Kit. This is gonna be the kit that we put together to allow us to build that small little pondless stream over there. So I see part of it. This is the guts of it. This is the Aqua Basin. And this is really going to be the tank.
Like the perfect size.
It's a 4-foot by 4-foot tank And what I like about this is it makes it very replicatable for the average consumer to put this in. If you can imagine digging a hole this big, by this big, by this deep, the hardest part's done. Like, and that's not that big. So if you can dig a tree in, you can dig this.
Right.
Everything after that is fun. Moving from boulders and being artistic.
I'm excited.
So look at the cat up there. That is the coolest cat. I can't tell the two cats apart.
Well, Russell's got 6 toes, so.
Oh, okay. That's kind of like Brian. Brian's got 6 toes too.
Nice.
Gingers. So Laura, we have so much extra product, and there's actually the opportunity, instead of starting this off with a shallow little stream, I can kind of manipulate one of the patio bowls and start it with water coming up out of the bowl, and then we get this little kind of horsetail falling off of it. The advantage to it is it gives us a little bit more height without having to make the berm that much bigger.
Sure. Can we like set it there?
Yeah, you don't have to make a decision till we set it.
I just get to entertain all possibilities.
I'm the same way. Unless I see it in the space,
I'm
like, let's bring it over there. If it looks right, then we'll do it. If not, back to the rock.
Which is why we put extra product in the shipment. And I am double-fisted.
That's for the pumpkin fountain.
Oh, cool.
Right?
Yep, that's coming soon, you guys. Pumpkin fountain. Look at all of this. We could start a pond store. Should we start selling from our house?
Absolutely.
So these pallets have actually been sitting here for like the last week and a half, and I've been so wanting to get into them. It's kind of fun to watch them unpack them, and it's not me doing it. That is awesome. So the Aqua Basin, this is where the water will go down and recirculate. 98-gallon water storage capacity. And it can withstand a ton of weight. It's crazy, guys, to be around somebody else who vlogs. Living the Aquascape lifestyle.
That's right, baby. You're gonna be.
All right, so hostas are gonna come out temporarily, but we're going to be reusing all of these same plants in the same area. I'm hoping to get away for a few minutes and maybe go pick up a Japanese maple to back the waterfall, and then maybe a few other fluffy things.
Go with you?
Yes.
That means I get out of digging.
Yeah. Do you want to come say hi to Greg and Brian? They're here. Look.
Look at what we're doing. I love that sweatshirt. We got a big truck on it.
Oh, look at that.
Hey, you gonna help us dig?
There's several drip lines that run through this area. So in order to dig that hole, they're having to cut through some stuff. So Aaron knows where it's all out there. So they're kind of like working on redirecting those lines. Step 1, clear the area. Step 2, dig a hole.
Step 2, dig a hole. Remember, 4 foot by 4 foot by about that deep. So we'll get going on that. Greg, it sounded like you guys were gonna go maybe pick out some special plants.
You want a Japanese maple?
Yeah, something awesome.
Japanese, with that red will look perfect.
Yeah.
Here, let's go do it.
Okay. What do you think of all those rocks out there? You like them? You like that? Oh, really?
You want to go for a ride, Benjamin? There we go.
Hold on tight, babe. Whoa, buddy. So fast.
Now you push me. I'm going to get in and you push me, okay? You ready? Okay, there I go. Okay, go.
Tip him.
Heave ho.
Just go push me.
Too hard? Good try though, bud. Good effort. Little hole update. That's a good looking hole.
Yeah. You just see, you never like it. Show yourself a little bit and then leave.
Good plan. So Greg and I just actually got back from grabbing a few new plants to put around this waterfall area. It's called the Backyard Waterfall Fountain Kit. That's the exact name of what we're putting in. We'll put an image on the screen of kind of how it works, because it's just that basin and it has a pump in it that pushes water up to the top of just a small rock or boulder waterfall. So you get that movement, you get that sound of water, but you don't have like a reservoir. So it's not something I have to worry about with Benjamin or the new baby, which is awesome. And it's also nice because it's small. It's not something that you have to excavate an enormous area. And we've alluded to the fact that we have we're thinking about putting in a large water feature in our new property, and we're still thinking about that. We're in planning stages. We talked with Greg and Brian at length about it last night, so it may happen in the next year or two, which would be really fun. But I think this is a great way to start, kind of get our feet wet, since we don't know a ton about taking care of stuff like this. I kind of want to take it slow, and it's good to have professionals that know what they're doing helping us out. So this is going to be the view from the other side. I mean, you guys know the pellet walkway area. It's kind of rustic. It's going to be perfect to have that water feature tucked in right here. And the basin is in place.
But just a little helpful trick, put this over the top of this, so when you're backfilling, you don't get any of that soil inside your container. You want to try to leave that container as clean as possible, because if there's soil in there, getting it out is going to be really hard. Like, you can use a shop vac, but if you don't have one, then you're using your Ma's vacuum cleaner.
So they've got the whole thing backfilled around it, and they're trying to work out how they're going to create, so the dirt that came from this hole is creating the berm behind it. So they're figuring out what kind of rock formation they want to bring down for the water feature. This is a fascinating process to watch when you have really no idea how it's done.
Now the fun part starts, and it's the building of the waterfall. And what's awesome is all the different opinions, but you shouldn't listen to anybody else.
Just Brian. No, just Brian.
And
well, we love to say, don't give the customer what they asked for, give them what they want.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And so what happens, it's not that one idea is wrong or one idea is right, it's that when you start blending 4 or 5 ideas together, it's a very artistic process, and sometimes it can look messy, right? Because every style is slightly different. And so the one thing we 100% agree on is the angle one of the drops should go. We want, like, you're walking a lot more from there over to here, and so I want you to be greeted by a little waterfall as you come into this space. So that first drop really needs to fall in this direction. So don't feel like this footprint is what you have to build off of. We have a separate liner inside that box right there. And I'm gonna set one boulder here, set another boulder out here on top of the liner, but in this soil area. These are gonna be called my frame rocks. These two kind of dictate which way that water is going to drop. So if I put a boulder here and a boulder here, then I'll need the opportunity behind me to swing that water around and get that drop here. Once these are set, let your vision adapt a little bit. You know, we were both saying it should kind of twist up into here, and it sounds super corny, but let the rocks speak to you a little bit. Once we set these, our ideas might completely change. And so let the rocks speak to you a little bit, and they'll kind of tell you where the next rock should go. And so it's a very, very organic process, and you want to, you know, cater that a little bit. So let's go grab a rock and see what it says.
Yay! Picking out the first rock. Oh, that's a beauty. Look at all that gorgeous detail on that one.
So I don't know if you saw that, but we set a frame rock back in there. We'll just show you. We set a frame rock, and then this was going to be my spill stone, and it didn't sit just right. So the reason we build from the bottom and work our way up to the top is because then I have the freedom to take this liner, pull it back, carve out the soil for that rock to fit in there just right. Never start at the top and work your way down, because you're very limited on the creativity of it all.
Tips from the pros. So we picked up a Japanese maple and some ajuga and vinca and heucheras and some dicentra, and then I've got a few things in the greenhouse, lemon coral sedum, that we'll probably use as well. I'm gonna go grab all of my planting supplies so that I'm kind of ready to go when my part happens, which I don't think is gonna take very long. These guys are fast. Some of them, like I've got some coleus, totally not the right time of year to plant it, but I think it'll be fun just to kind of show off this water feature, to kind of just do it up with plants. So we've got crested surf fern, some carex, autumn frost hosta, purple fountain grass, lemon coral sedum. And this is the Wicked Hot, I think, coleus. Hold on. Yep, Wicked Hot.
This is kind of my favorite part, like building the waterfalls.
Yep.
And the one thing I could recommend if you're going to try to do this yourself, or even for people that have done it before, keep it simple, stupid, right? One rock on one side, this is called my frame rock, another rock on another side, the other frame rock, and then something in between. When it starts looking artificial is when you start stacking a bunch of boulders on top of each other. Think of Mother Nature, and the best way to actually do this is go hike up and down streams. And if you live in Idaho, there's no excuse, right? Like, go find it, find it. But if you think of the way water moves down a hillside, water comes down a hillside, eroding away the earth, leaving back behind the stones it couldn't move. So if I saw a 4-foot high waterfall in nature, what size boulder is sitting next to that 4-foot waterfall? It's probably a 4.5 to 5 foot boulder. It's not a bunch of 12-inch rocks stacked on top of each other, because Mother Nature pushed those down to the bottom of the waterfall. So here, if I'm going to build a 10-inch drop, I want a 12-inch rock on this side, a 12-inch rock on this side. And now
probably
it's
what,
just,
60, 80 pounds?
Yeah, like these, if you can't pick them up, roll them. Like, it's not that big. It's like moving a big pumpkin, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Pretty close.
Pretty close. In fact, we could use a pumpkin if we wanted to. And then it's just repeat. So now I'm going to figure out where I want the next one. Now, so when we figure out where the next one, now start thinking a little bit more about like Mother Nature. I've got this area here. What I don't want to do is have the gravel behind this space higher than this. If there was gravel higher here, what would Mother Nature do? Push it off the top, right? So I want the ground behind this spillstone to always be lower than the top of the spillstone. In fact, it should actually dip down deeper, and the more you dip it down, as it comes back into here, the more of a pool we get. So now it becomes personal preference. What do you want to do? Do you want to keep it kind of shallow and fast moving, or would you rather see more of a plunge pool?
I want the plunge pool. Plunge pool. I vote for plunge pool. Well, here's why I vote for plunge pool too. Because when we put the lights in there, it'll even do that much more shimmering with the water.
I like shimmer. I do like the shimmer. Yeah.
So we're digging deeper. Okay.
Oh, sorry, Tristan.
Did you notice how I looked at him? So
yeah. That's amazing. And I wish I would have never said anything about the color of the rocks. I feel so bad. They look awesome right here.
I always tend to pull the waterfall all the way to the very edge of the liner because I know I can.
Right.
The challenge with that is if I go up with another waterfall, I start getting a little high.
Sure.
Right? Like, and I'm really so mindful of that volcano type look. If you start getting a slight volcano look, the only way to hide it is proper plantings, which is kind of your thing,
yeah.
right?
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, I can maybe handle that.
So do you want to go one more waterfall high?
Yeah.
Yeah? Is this an option?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do
Of course.
You know what else I found grows in the water? Hostas.
Really?
I have them growing right in my pond. And they root.
I got some.
They root. The roots are cool because they're just covering and they're like inside the rock now.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. They grow really slow because they don't get the oxygen.
Well, that's perfect though, kind of, right?
It kind of holds them back
a little tidy. We need to put one in the pond then.
Try it.
Oh, so you got a piece of driftwood placed since the last time I looked.
Yeah, won't that be cool? Like,
yeah.
It will come through there, onto here, twist around that, and then...
Awesome.
So we're almost to the top. Well, we actually are all the way to the top, right? We've got our waterfalls all framed out. This one we actually used a log to kind of frame out the waterfalls, which will look great. It actually adds that natural look. But now we're about ready to hook up the plumbing. You don't need to be a licensed plumber to do this at all. It's actually quite simple. We use this thing, which is actually called our waterfall spillway. There is a top on there. If you get confused, we wrote the word top right on here. Our pipe, this is going to accept our pipe. Now the reason we use this thing is because when water comes out of this, it swells up, and it's really important that water swells up before it goes over a waterfall. If I were to just take a hose and put it right here, water would shoot out of this, and you never see water shoot out over a waterfall. It kind of swells up and then drops. So this will actually get that water to stop from shooting and not necessarily slow it down, but allow it to pool up. Now the placement of this thing is completely up to you. If you wanted to build another waterfall, you could set it up over here. If I wanted to bring it over here, I could bring it over here. To keep this easy, I'm gonna drop it here because my plumbing's coming from that trench that we placed over in there. The other thing I did is I sunk it down a little bit. The only way to hide this is to put a rock over the top. I don't want this thing sitting like that because a rock sitting higher than this one is gonna look weird. We're gonna start getting into that stacked boulder look again. I want this to sit recessed so the next rock that sits in here sits close to the same level as this. And once I've got this set and I've positioned it where I want it, you want to try to level it off, level side to side, level front to back. I'm going to pull my liner up and mark where this threaded piece is right here. So the easiest way to do it is just kind of push it up to there, put your hand around it. It'll give you kind of an idea of where that hole needs to be. And if I pull this, I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but there's a ring right, here. So now I'm going to cut that out. I'm going to cut it just a little bit shorter than this, maybe like a 1/4 inch smaller than the diameter of this area here. Come in here. Now, this thing came to us like this. There's 2 rubber washers on there. So I took the one rubber washer off, the nut on this side, take it off. We're gonna leave one rubber washer on, stretch this liner back up and over the top of it. You wanna make sure there's no folds in the liner at all. Get that on there. Then I just take this rubber washer, put it right back over the top of this. And then really the only specialty tool you're gonna need to do this whole thing, besides a nice wheelbarrow and a shovel, is a large pair of channel locks. So I thread this on hand tight, and then I wanna give this guy a turn about a 1/2 rotation past tight. What will happen is if I keep rotating and rotating and every one of us is strong enough to keep twisting it, you'll eventually pop the plastic threads that are on this bulkhead fitting. So just about a 1/2 turn, maybe a turn past hand tight. As soon as I see those rubber washers kind of swell up a little bit, I know I'm good. That's it. Then I take my male pipe adapter. I'm going to put a little silicone or Teflon tape around this, thread this into here, and you can see Tristan in the background ready for the plumbing. We're going to put a little PVC glue on here and drop this in place. So let's get that all set up for you guys, and we'll show you that in a second.
First hosta has been placed, so that's the back of the waterfall right there. So hosta, I think we'll put another one here and then another one back over here. And those were the 3 that they dug up at the beginning of this project. It's just an amazing transformation already. All right guys, we just took a break for lunch and we figured out that it has taken these two guys 2.5 hours to get this far. From the second they broke ground to dig up those hostas to this point. And they're really getting close. And they are professionals, so they know what they're doing. So if like a person like me took after, got one of these kits and I was going to install it, it would probably be a weekend project for me, I'm guessing. I mean, if you really wanted to bust it out like a full day with Aaron's help. But you could really stretch it out and enjoy the process and just have it be a really fun weekend project. I am so excited to see the water run through this. I can't even explain how excited I am.
This is the same gravel that's in your driveway.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that looks familiar.
So Brian just leveled up one of the rocks with it. So
okay.
why did you, explain why you picked that rock up and maybe put gravel on it, right?
There's 2 ways to do it. When this rock was sitting at its original height, the back side of this rock was the same level as this waterfall.
Oh.
And it doesn't look like it, but when I put a level on it, it was.
Interesting.
Right, so when I turned this all on, this liner was down here at this level, everything would have leaked out that way. So we have two options. I could have left this rock here, put another rock on top of it, but stacking rocks looks bad. So it's just a trick. Build up from the bottom because nobody will see it, and then I get my rock up higher than this point.
Nice.
Right, so the idea is
easy.
All your liner should always be higher than whatever your waterfall height is, and usually 4 to 5 inches higher.
Okay.
Right, one thing we tell everybody, do not cut the liner on these edges until it's running, because if you cut it too short, you can't make it longer again. So you'd really want to run this now and then check to make sure your liner's good. But because I've done 3 or 4 of these, like I got an idea.
3 or 400 or 1,000.
Wow, and then Japanese maple is in. They got that planted, Hostas in, and then we're going to, when everything's done, we'll come in with some more fluff.
So we always say the waterfall is your signature on every project, right? But the edges and the plant material really make or break the whole thing. I always say if you can find a shrub to hide an air conditioner, you can find a plant to hide all your flaws or something in your water feature, right? And so edges are really important. The biggest mistake you can make, let's just pull this back so I can show you guys. The most common thing for people to do is they leave this liner, they'll leave it out here like this, then they just take this gravel and they plop it on it because it's easy and effortless. What happens though is when they're all done, you have this necklace look all the way around and it looks extremely artificial, especially in the first year. So then you're really relying on the plants to hide your air conditioner, right? And we don't want to wait a year. So what we do is we do a couple different edge treatments. The key is not to do the same thing throughout. So here we're actually going to take this liner. I've trimmed it. I know my liner is high because my water level is all the way down here. I'm just going to take it, fold it back. The idea then is to pack the dirt in extremely tight as you can get it back behind there. Then what happens is I can just take my soil, bring it right over the top of it. The little bit of soil that moves between the liner and the edge of the rock is insignificant because I've compacted this soil in here so tight. So now I can just bring it right over the top. This area where there was a big cavity between this rock, and this rock, I was never going to stretch my liner tight enough to fill that in really tight, so I just filled this whole thing in with gravel. Now that did two things. It broke up the monotony of soil going all the way or gravel going all the way. Then you come in with a plant like this and imagine this thing buried and it kind of hanging over the rock. And like Greg always says, you love when you can't tell where the water ends and where the land begins. And so plants, like I always challenge our customers, try to hide the rock. I know you'll never be totally successful, but when the rock kind of peeks out amongst the plants is when it starts looking really, really natural. We're ready to what we call foam our waterfalls. Right now, if I were to turn this on, there's no way I would get any water to come over the top of this. You see this big giant hole right here? The water takes the path of least resistance just like it would in nature, right? So it's gonna find that huge hole and shoot down through there. It'll find this crack over here and shoot down through there. So no matter how much you try to compact the liner up against the back side of the rock, there's inevitably gonna be these little spots. So we take this expanding, obviously waterfall foam, and it's like a polyurethane foam, and it'll go in and it'll actually fill up that whole void. So I just take the can, I shake it. The nice stuff about this is it's actually black, like where a lot of the other stuff is yellow and you take a lot to hide it. So I'm just gonna take this, I'm gonna shoot it down in this hole. Woo. So just a little bit, it starts coming out. And I come down in here, and you can see how fast it goes. So when you do this, be careful. And what you never do is get it on yourself, because once it's on you, it's never coming off. So when Greg says let Benjamin play with it, it might be a supervised moment. There you go.
How much?
Keep going all the way to the top. Yep. Great. So any place you see a little hole, and you can try to shove that nozzle
down in here.
Yep. Oh, watch your hands. It's leaking out the back. Oh, it got you! Now you're a waterfall builder. This stuff is a little tricky to work with, but what you do is you can take like a piece of gravel and just kind of scrape it away. And then even better, you can take like a light, like this stuff down here works really good. This powdery, dusty stuff, and you just sprinkle it over the top. kind of disappears.
coating.
Yep. And it'll dry that color.
And that's how you foam.
That is interesting. I didn't even know about waterfall foam.
Now you do. You know, it'll be remembered for days.
Yeah, now you Wow, look at that. Gotta stay out of it. Yeah.
I've never done this before. Let's see. All right, let's see if this experiment worked. Oh, I think it did. Hey, look at that. A B for Benjamin. I would think that was fun if I was 2.5 or 50.5. Filling it up. Okay, yes, so let's plug it in. Are you ready?
Yes, the moment of truth.
Yes. Looks very natural.
It's beautiful.
If it looks beautiful before it's flowing, just imagine when it starts to flow. Measure up a pool.
I'm glad we went with the pool.
Oh, that was a good
Right?
call. That was a good call, yeah. Oh my goodness, that is so beautiful. It looks like I'm in a different garden. Like a better garden. Way better.
Water, listen, no, but seriously, water adds life to any garden.
Yeah.
This is life now. We have life here.
That is gorgeous.
This is what it sounds.
Well done.
Hey, great job on your birthday, Brian.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a
happy
birthday
anniversary.
waterfall.
This was an anniversary
gift, birthday present for Brian. And,
I built my own birthday present. That's so nice of you, Greg.
I'm glad you brought it out too.
Yes.
You brought out a piece of the liner, right?
Yeah, we call it a bib liner, so it'll extend over the basin. So literally 2 guys that are certified Aquascape contractors could put this in a half a day. You know, we did all the landscaping, which is a little extra. But this kit installed as you see it right now would run around $5,000 from a certified Aquascape contractor. You could buy the materials to build this. The kit from Aquascape is around $1,000, and then you probably got a couple $100 in stone and gravel. So maybe for $1,500, this is a do-it-yourself project. Nobody is going to build a waterfall that natural looking in the beginning. But the nice thing about the foam that you got on your fingers is, if we didn't like anything, we could take it out, rip it out, and an hour later start it up again. So a consumer that was building this in their backyard, they could experiment and they could twist it and they could turn it, because just because we have it like this now, unlike cement, that's solid, foam is expandable. You can rip it out, put it back in with the new foam. So a kit like this, for $5,000, you completely transform the space. And if you're a do-it-yourselfer, it's a labor of love. This is maybe a 2-weekend project for somebody with a family. And can you just imagine Benjamin out here with his little boats and his little farming man?
He is gonna love it. He's gonna want to climb.
I think Benjamin's gonna be wet.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
That's what kids should be doing.
Yes,
and now, honestly, this is the thing that we really enjoy is the families, how they interact with it. Because you'll spend more time now in this pergola out here because of the fact you have this to listen to.
Right.
And the birds are going to love this. This is what they love, is the shallow areas. So that little beach area that Brian put in up there, the birds are going to come down there. They're going to bathe. You're going to see a lot of birds coming in here, and because they hear that sound.
And I love the color. I love the color. I mean, it's beautiful. Yes.
Are you serious?
I do.
Okay, she admitted it.
Yes,
on camera. I love that.
Well, the mosses and lichens, you know, in the wooded setting here just make a lot of sense. And I think when I was telling Greg out over here, my favorite part was actually watching you in your element. Like, we started doing our stuff, and then you're just sitting here just plugging plants away. And,
it was
and
fun.
The plants do make or break every project. And look at how incredible it looks.
It's the decorations on the Christmas tree. And what's nice is that this will run year-round. Even, you know, out here, you'll get ice formations on here, but it will keep recirculating. You just have to tap it off with some water.
I think if I would have gone with a darker stone, you wouldn't have it wooden tops. It would have been too dark in this area.
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And
Well,
the sound is wonderful.
Welcome to living the Aquascape lifestyle.
Project one of
many. It is an honor
Yeah.
for us
Yes,
to work
thank
for
you.
Garden Answer. I mean, we are inspired by your channel. You are doing the kind of things that we want to do, inspire people.
Thank you guys.
Oh my gosh,
so
thank
much.
you. Thanks for the opportunity.
It's amazing.
I just want to kind of sit back and relax.
Yeah, now,
right?
Yeah.
I just put chairs to
Yep.
create a new seating area out here.
Because you're such an influencer in the gardening genre, we want to give away one of these kits. So if you want one of your viewers to watch this, go to the link below.
Yes.
And it's how you can actually win your own kit, because we want more people living the Aquascape lifestyle. Yeah.
I love it.
You won't get Brian and I out there, but you can watch our videos to learn how to do it. And so we're very honored that you would allow us to build in this incredible garden to help make it even a nicer garden. And we would love to inspire one of your viewers to actually be able to do this for themselves. So we'll be happy if you check out the link below to give one of these kits away to one of your viewers.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Don't miss the opportunity, you guys. You will love this. Come take a look, Benjamin.
Benjamin, look at the waterfall.
What do you think, bud? You gonna go touch the water? Come here, baby.
I want to move.
Yeah.
Yeah. He loves it. Alright guys, so the dust is settled. It's been a couple of days since the water feature was installed. We've been able to really enjoy it. So I wanted to take the opportunity just to walk you through this whole thing, kind of slowly, look at the feature, look at the plants, because this area is so transformed. Like I can't even explain how I feel about it, because I have to admit, I was one of those people who was on the fence about water features like this. And when Greg and I were talking through ideas and stuff, I'm like, whatever we do, I just want to make sure that whatever water feature goes in, it doesn't look unnatural, it doesn't look manufactured. I don't like it, because I've seen so many water features that just look like it's a flat landscape and then all of a sudden somebody piles up a bunch of rocks and then there's a water feature. And it just looks so out of place to me. So when we were scouting around the yard, I tried not to put in my 2 cents, because I am not the professional, obviously, with water features. And I just showed them a bunch of different spots where I thought it might work. And they chose this one, and I'm so glad they did, because this is kind of the one I was hoping they would choose. Because we have this natural canopy of juniper, and there's a crabapple here, and it's shady right here most of the time, I thought this would probably be the best spot. And it did turn out awesome, because before it was just flat. There were hostas, which are still here. We utilized every single plant that was in this space. We just popped them out and then, you know, utilized them in different areas. But the reservoir for this whole water feature, which this is the backyard waterfall fountain landscape kit. I always flip those words around, but the fact that it just came as a kit, like you get everything that you need. Like if you are a DIYer and like to, you know, fiddle with stuff like this and put it in yourself, you get all the pieces you need minus the rocks. So you have to go source the rocks locally, of course, because shipping rocks is just kind of like, that's a little hard. So the reservoir is right here, 4x4. And when they dug out that section, they just used all the dirt from that dig to create kind of this mounded appearance right there. And there are a total of 3 waterfalls kind of graduating in size. So the smallest one is up top there. I don't know if you can kind of wheel your way around there, Aaron, and see that. The soil hasn't quite settled, so I'm being very careful here. The first waterfall is there. It kind of goes over this piece of driftwood, which was a really beautiful addition. Then it comes down to this second waterfall over the stone, and then to this third one that's a little taller. And they also worked some lighting in there. So at night, there's a light here. There are 3 lights total. I can't even see the other 2. They're so worked into the area. But what happens is they shine through that water, and then that water reflects up into the canopy of these trees, and it looks very sparkly and gorgeous. And the thing I love about this, it's not just the waterfall itself, but they incorporated stones kind of out, like out here, and then they have one just freestanding. This is just for looks right here. It has nothing to do with the fountain, but they made it look like it has always been here, like it was worked naturally into the landscape, and I appreciated that so much. The other thing about this, when they showed up with the rocks, we hadn't talked about color of stone and all those sorts of things. And I looked in that bin and everything looked pretty orange. Like a lot of the stones had a ton of orange, and I thought, I don't know if I'm gonna like that because I tend to go for more charcoal, gray, kind of dark colors. But had I not just let them do it, in the end I just said, like, just go for it. I'm gonna trust you guys. I'm so glad I did, because without that kind of pop of color, I think it would have been lost if I would have chosen rocks that were all too dark in color. So it just goes to show, like, sometimes it's worth it to trust the professionals, especially these guys. I mean, watching them come in and do this in a matter, it took 2 guys, what was that, like 5 hours, maybe? 2 guys to bust out this whole project. And then I was able to come in and help a lot with the plantings. In fact, while Brian was working on the design part with the stones, Greg and I went down and picked up a few things, like there's some Dicentra bleeding hearts over here, the pink blooming, some heucheras, what else? We got a Japanese maple, some ajuga right in here, just some really pretty natural plantings that will do well in this area. So you really should check out Brian's channel. It's called Team Aquascape. If you are into like the DIY portion of this, like seeing the nitty-gritty of how these things come together, the design process, like troubleshooting stuff, how to fix, you know, all kinds of different things. His channel is invaluable in that way, and he's the one who designed this and really kind of put it into action. And the cool part about working with him, because most creative people, like, I know when I'm doing a creative project, I just kind of want to almost be left alone. Like, I want to be in my own headspace, working on it, letting something evolve without a bunch of other noise coming in. But he and I, like, I was working on plants, he was working on stones, and we were collaborating and shooting ideas off of each other. And it was a really fun process for me. Like, I worked really well with him. And it was just so much fun. So Team Aquascape was his channel. And then of course, Greg Wittstock, the pond guy, got to check out his channel. He kind of, like, he travels around a lot and he shows like the lifestyle portion of ponds and just so many different inspirational things. And I posted a couple of pictures while this process was going on, and people were saying, just wait, you'll get one and then you'll be addicted. Like, he'll get you addicted. And I think that you're right, because now Aaron and I are walking around and we're like, I think we need water right here. Maybe a pond right here. So like, the possibilities are endless and it's just so beautiful. Like, I actually want to just pull a chair up right here, maybe create a seating area nearby. We have the gazebo right here and it makes it much more pleasant to spend time out here and maybe eat dinner more out here. But it's like I'm in the mountains without having to go anywhere. Awesome. So anyway, the name of his channel is Greg Wittstock, the pond guy. He's the owner of Aquascape and he's been doing this for like 30 some years. And he is just full of energy, full of really fun ideas. And Brian, his lead designer, who I worked with here, has been doing it for like 25 plus years. It was a real honor to have both of those like super professional, brilliant minds in our space doing this for us. So they're also giving away one of these kits to one of you guys. So follow the link in the description down below. It'll take you where you need to go and give you all the information on that. And I'm really excited about this. I'm excited about possible future projects that we've been kind of talking about. So we'll let you in on those a little bit later. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video and we will see you in the next one. Bye.